Sorry about that. Okay, like I said, it's just some weird stuff has been happening with OBS. Windows updated last night. Windows 10, so certain things started screwing up. The only thing I've had mess up was just within OBS. Just basically like some audio things got worked around, and that was it. Everything else, all my other programs worked just fine. Whenever people complain about Windows 10, like, oh, it's completely broken, I don't believe it. Because it's statistically less than half of 1% would have that problem, and two people claim that they have it. But that's a pretty good issue. That's a pretty good idea there, Nimix. So what it had to do is because I actually originally got the game over screen like for my stream ends, to like the offline photo was actually like probably a year and a half before I decided to make the game over video with all the fear effect endings, which is what those things are. So I just need to go and take a screenshot of the last one, so that way it pops in just right. So it could be done. That's a pretty good suggestion. I'll probably do that after the stream. Alright, so hopefully everything looks and sounds okay. We'll see. Perfect. Okay, we'll definitely know when the game starts. Let's see. Subtitles on, control hints off. I do not need to be told how to play a game that I pretty much brought back from the brink of speedrunning. People not playing it. Pretty sure I know how to play the game. Okay. And we'll do normal. This used to be, if you played the Wii U version, it was called Second Climax. It used to be first, second, and third climaxes, and then they changed it to easy, normal, hard, and very hard or something, I don't know. But it's kind of funny because even in the speedrunning community, when most people started speedrunning the game when the Switch version came out, which is what I'm playing it on, we still refer to it as like first climax, second climax, infinite climax, things like that nature. This part is pretty much mostly on a timer. There's not too much you can do. You can actually manipulate it slightly.
Nobody knows where the world came from.
Basically has to do with lag. So the less people you have on the screen,
to be split into 3 realms,
like the less like slowdown you'll have.
And chaos.
The Wii U version was famous
Obviously,
for
our
slowdown.
world was the one born from chaos.
Pardon me, slowdown and variable frame rate. Like this game does not run a locked 60 frames per
Most
second.
of all, ours.
So you'll have like the Wii U version will run anywhere between 44 to 60 frames per second. And the Switch version, which I'm playing right now, runs pretty much around just about the same, but it's more stable 60. But occasionally you'll have drops down to 50 at the most. So at very few places it'll drop down to 44, and that's like 1 or 2 crazy instances. If it does drop, it's 55 to 60.
Spent the first eternity quietly looking upon
So
the earth from this holy
basically
mountain.
what I found with when I started speedrunning this game way back on the Wii U, I played on the disc version, which is like the absolute worst way to run this game, because the loading is even more horrendous.
These observations became asymmetrical.
Basically I found like for the end of the level, it could be anywhere between, like you'd have basically up to a 30-second variance in load times.
However,
so you'd either finish up anywhere between 3 minutes and 45 seconds to, yeah, it was 20 seconds. It was 3 minutes and 45 seconds to 4 minutes and 5 seconds on your timer.
the
So,
right eye of light.
it could
and the
be
left
all
eye
over
of
the place. You could have like pretty decent run and then also just have to instantly restart it because your timer was just 20 seconds late. So thankfully when the Switch port came out, so sadly it's not a lock 60,
Combining the power of the eyes of
but
AC,
load
humans
times
gain
are
free will.
stupidly fast.
They
I
can now
mean,
choose.
we're on the Wii U, even the digital
with
version,
control of the eyes
which
of
was
the world,
faster than the disc,
the eyes that
you
determine
would be
destiny.
looking at, like, on the
Humans
Wii U,
can choose
possibly
their own
load
path.
times around 20 to,
They awoke
yeah,
to their
about
own
20-25 seconds on average.
Man was
And then
gonna
the
be
Switch version,
the most
if you
feeble
play it
thing
off
in
the
nature.
cart, you're
But
looking at
now,
load times
we
between
were
levels
thinking,
between 9 to 11 seconds.
and we took our first big step
And
towards
then-
grand prosperity.
Yeah, so let's change that back here. So let's see. So let's see if this works better. Okay, let's see if this is a little bit better. Turn it down a little bit more.
Granted the power of creation.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. Like I said, you know, if anything needs to be adjusted, just let me know. I can still drop it down further or whatnot. But load times, holy crap. So I was talking about load times between the Wii U and the Switch. So load times for levels like right now on the Wii U is like 25 to 30 seconds. The Switch, if you play it on the cart, it's 9 to 11 seconds. If you play it on digital, you're looking at 8 to 9 on average. So when the game came out on Switch, it was like, I was expecting times to drop by like maybe 10 minutes, and they dropped by like 25 almost. Oh yeah. Streaming audio is really tricky to get right. It takes a while, but like, you know, you guys know me by now. It's like I'm a pretty big stickler for wanting to have the best possible stream, so I don't mind if something's off, you know, because I need to adjust it. That's fine. Holy crap, I have not watched this intro forever. So I used to speedrunning and just skipping the scene. By the way, this is not a kid-friendly game. There is harsh language.
You know what I need? Some heels without guns. You don't mind if we make a quick stop, do you?
Do you know what day's coming up? Here I was shopping, minding my own business, then
Yes,
you
go to
show
bed,
up and
Nimix.
turn me into a damn porter. Seriously, Bayonetta, you still haven't paid me back for the car.
Joe Pesci,
Hey,
I mean
whoa.
Enzo,
Now,
likes
is
to
that any way
swear.
to speak to an old friend? Besides, I did that job for you. For free, might add. Do I really have to tell everyone how you grabbed onto my leg sobbing like a schoolboy?
This is why I can't have good things. You're some piece of work, you know that? If you weren't already lined up to go to Inferno, you'd be well on your way with all the shit you pull. Dressing up like a nun just so you could off some angels and keep the underworld happy. Hey, I'm talking to you. Shit. But if it's that or getting torn limb from limb for eternity in whatever circle of Inferno you witches go to if you break the contract, forget about it. I'd off the fucking wing bastards all damn day. Oh, hey. What the
Nintendo game. That's what I love about it.
Hey,
Remember, like,
but what the fuck you
yo,
wasting your
Nimix
time
and I
trying to
will
send some
definitely remember.
schmucks
I don't know how
off
old
to
you
the
are, Friendly
afterlife
Tiger,
for?
but
And done.
Nintendo for the
Let's
longest
go
time
home.
had censorship
Hey, wait a
policies.
second. I ain't
For
done
me.
here. If I don't get
They
what
would
I
censor
came
games,
for, I'm
take
gonna
out
be
swear
the biggest
words,
mutt in the city.
remove blood, nudity, religious references, and now like Nintendo is pretty much becoming the last bastion of like uncensored games,
I'll never hear the fucking end.
which is quite the opposite of what it used to be back in the day.
You always know how to make an entrance, John. A rare sight to see you in the city.
Just had something I had to look into. Cereza, you haven't felt anything strange recently.
By the way, Cereza is Bayonetta's real name.
I still haven't quite.
So
figured
Jean
out
calls
what
her
a
both.
broke, bumbling
That's
wise
Jean,
guy
by the way, the girl in
managed
red.
to turn himself into a semi-respectable family man.
Forget about it. And what's this Cereza shit? You're about as sweet as my Nona's grappa, you know that? Some witch with amnesia goes around calling herself a weapon, and it turns out she really got stuck with a kid's nickname. That shit's rich, I tell you what.
Our friends in Paradiso are far too quiet. I'm sure you've noticed. But they aren't the only ones.
And they actually marketed like Bayonetta's glasses for sale,
Our friends
so you
down
can actually
south
buy them
seem to
yourself,
be
the
a bit upset
frames.
as well.
They're like $300, which is crazy. Way too much. And it's not my color. And I'm a dude.
To prepare for the massive influx of merrymakers expected to take in this year's festivities, set to be headlined by a flyover from the military's aerial acrobatics unit. According to Channel 2 News, the 3 years parade may break all time attendance records.
shit! The Platinum Stars.
Just like Platinum
I need to
Games, who
hurry up and
made
get
this
Ed and Edna's
game.
presents, or I'm gonna get it.
Wow, it's like I said, I have not watched this cutscene in like
I'll
2
see you back
years.
home. Don't forget to pick up the things for the party.
It's not Christmas without caviar. Yeah, see, the thing is when you start speedrunning a game, that's when you stop playing a game.
What's the matter with you? I told you what
So, like, you really skip over all the story elements and stuff. Like, I can't tell you, like, half the people what their names are or what the story is for the game, because you just skip all that stuff to go fast.
Yellow, blue, I don't care what color they are. I learned my lesson with those bastards, you hear me? Just a normal damn jet, please. You hear that? I want one of those. The thing's flying in the air right now. There, that's the one. That's the biggest one you got in the store, right? Wrap it up nice, will you? It's a present, for God's sakes. Yo! You know what? Screw the pretty ribbon. Just hurry up and put it in the box, will ya? Fuck the damn ribbon!
You know, I try to avoid doing this in my Sunday best. At least your lot still knows how to make an end.
By the way, this would have been unheard of 20 years ago from Nintendo. Even 10 years ago, just about. And I get Twitch banned. Nudity in a Nintendo game. That's it. That's the only nudity in the entire game, but that's it. By the way, this song is a cover of an Andy Williams song. As I've told on stream once before in my wonderful story about going to Branson, Missouri, which is like if Ned Flanders ran Las Vegas. Yes. The world record, yeah, it's the world record for casual play, Fico. By the way, happy birthday again. It is Fico's birthday. Wish him a happy birthday if you wish. Trying to get used to all the controls and stuff again. It's been a little different. Yes, I have the casual world record. Pico is now an old man of 25 years
This is
old.
why I never buy anything on sale.
Didn't I say it? This is why I can't have nice things. Damn it, car, start already.
Right on time to deliver a little holiday cheer.
Oh, fucking wonderful. Don? But I don't believe in Santa.
Watch your mouth, Enzo.
Yes. You need crutches to walk now.
Don't want any
Hilariously misspelled crutches, but I'll take it. I know what you meant.
Unbelievable!
So something I kind of noticed that was interesting, like when I fought those guys on the plane just a second ago. That seems to be like really variable audio, but when I fought those guys on the plane a second ago, the camera angle is reversed from what it normally is. If you skip the cutscenes, it will basically you're facing the front of the plane like the cockpit. But if you let the entire movie play out like we showed here, then you're facing the back end of the plane camera-wise. So that's interesting because the original demo for Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U actually faced you off that direction. Oh man, it's been way too long. So I have no idea how long I'm going to be able to play the game, to be honest, which is why I'm letting all the cutscenes play out, because one, I don't remember any of the story, and I haven't seen these cutscenes in like almost 2 years. So it's like, cool! So we'll see how long I can last doing this, because it still beats me up to play it, I'm sure. Taunting in this game does a couple of different things. You can see they turn red, they become more aggressive, but it also gives you a lot more halos in order to basically get money. Halos are the currency in this world, in this game. So the more halos you have, the better off you will be. Of course, you wouldn't be, like, you know, taunting this much, like this frequently. I'm doing it too slow because I'm way out of practice, but the more money you have, the better. Because basically, when you're speedrunning, the goal of the game is to get the Star Fox costume as quickly as possible, because it doubles up your shots. There are different cosmetic games, but different cosmetic costumes, I should say. So, and they actually do different things, but the Star Fox costume actually doubles up your shots and does more damage per second. So yeah, literally, I played this game for I don't know how many hours, but I've probably beaten it maybe in the range of about 200 times in the course of speedrunning it, learning it, and doing all those different things. So yeah, it's like I literally forgot the story, because I played it when it came out. I mean, I bought my Wii U just to play this game alone. So one time I did know the story, but then you start speedrunning, you stop playing a game. Oh no, I shouldn't be playing at all. In fact, jets are not even near this big. But of course, if that's the only thing you have a problem with in a world where I'm fighting angels on top of a fighter jet with my hair, not bad. Also, taunting will extend out your combos, so like if you're in danger of your combo timer running out, it'll keep it going longer, so you can rack up even higher points, because the goal is to basically get to 100,000 points as quickly as you can. Usually with the current speedrunning strats that are employed, we can get there around the start of Chapter 3. Hey, platinum, which is kind of tricky to get on this part. There's also interactable scenes. It doesn't tell you, but like right now you need to hit the dodge button. And by doing so, it'll land you in Witch Time. Witch Time is basically activated if you've never played this game before by dodging attacks at the right time, just like I did not do right there. It basically gives you a little bit more time to get out of the way, do more damage, things like that. I almost always miss that timing. Like, even while I was speedrunning this game, I'd screw it up. Nope. Actually, it's like, I don't play Smash Brothers at all, actually, because I am, like, too old. I don't know what it is, but I cannot keep track of my characters at all on Smash Brothers.
That was quick.
Like, 'cause my little brother would be like, dude, play me Smash! I'm like, I can't tell where I'm at on the screen. So, whatever it is, I can't track my characters in Smash, so I never got into it. I have it on the GameCube, but I don't really play it, so I don't have it on Switch or anything else. This is actually the only game I own on the Switch. I bought my Wii U just to play Bayonetta 2, and I bought my Switch just to speedrun Bayonetta 2, so... But I've heard that she's ridiculously good in Smash, to the point where people pretty much want to have her banned constantly, so... Pretty much. I mean, it's like... Actually, I take it back. I have 2 games for this, because this also came with Bayonetta 1. So technically, I have 2 games for my Switch. There's just, like, no other games that interest me, to be honest, for the system. And eventually I'll be owning Bayonetta 3 whenever that comes out, so we'll have to see about that. By the way, let me know if my audio needs to change again. I'm keeping an eye on the volume mixer, so I'm not sure if I need to crank up my mic or more or not, but just let me know. Okay, good. No, still no date. The thing is, it's been literally 1 year, actually just over 1 year. It's been 367 days. And I sound obsessive when I say that, but that's literally how long it's been since we've last heard or seen anything on Bayonetta 3, other than Kamiya saying we're working on it a couple months ago. So, like, the Video Game Awards last year was when the game was announced, and we haven't seen or heard anything else since then. So we were expecting, like, we were watching it last time, or a couple days ago, the Game Awards, expecting to see maybe something. Like some kind of announcement or a trailer. Nothing came from it. So it's been a long time. So we were thinking originally like a 2019 date for the game to come out, but I'm thinking at this point, since we haven't even seen a screenshot, nothing has come out at all for this game, that I'm thinking probably 2020 at this point. I don't think it should be out just yet. I mean, usually games take about a 2-year cycle or so. But this game got announced last year with a teaser trailer. But, I mean, like I said, there's been no screenshots, nothing whatsoever at all. And even games like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is going to be probably not coming out until 2022, I'd probably say 2020, sometime on the PlayStation 5. We've seen trickles of that, but we haven't seen anything at all in Bayonetta 3, which is not a good sign. And then, like, people are really upset too because nothing came out for Metroid Prime 4. But When they showed that off last year, they're like, "Hey, we're making Metroid Prime 4." All they had was just a mock-up screen like shot of like just the title itself, Metroid Prime 4. That was it. If you're at that stage of the game development when all you have is that, you've basically greenlit the game and that's it. You don't have art assets, you don't have probably team members in place, you don't have anything. So Metroid Prime 4, I wouldn't expect till 2020.
I know the one who destroyed your world. I know the one.
By the way, this game involves time travel, so the plot goes all over the place. Pardon me. It actually ties back into Bayonetta 1. So it does go around in a time paradox, pretty much. But yeah, it's annoying when games are announced way too soon, and you just don't see them forever. Yeah, so we were hoping, I mean, like I said, like in the Bayonetta Discord, we were just hoping for something, some kind of news or a screenshot, anything, and we got nothing.
Jean's gonna wander Inferno suffering for eternity. Dims the brakes.
I didn't ask you to tell me what I already know, Rodon. Especially if you're going to be flip about it.
Your best friend, you pull a gun on him.
You know better than that.
A fallen angel and demon who can easily mop the floor with you.
Let that sort of summon go out of control, Bayonetta. Something's up. The balance of powers that keep things in check don't feel right, does it?
You know, she's pretty hot for a dead chick. You wasn't a big fan of her shit when she was in the realm of the living. But looking at her now...
It's like, the question is, does she have to be nude in the coffin?
She's not dead, Enzo.
She's right, Enzo. You only
Yeah, I
feel
mean, like,
dead after
Final
the soul
Fantasy
has
VII
been completely
Remake,
absorbed into another
that's going to be PlayStation 5 without a question. Tetsuro Nomura's involved. It took 10 years to get Final Fantasy 15 out the door. It took 9 years for The Last Guardian. You know, and however many years it's been for Kingdom Hearts 3, which he's been in charge of all 3 games at this point. He is famous for being fickle and changing things. At one point, Final Fantasy 15, he wanted to stop development and turn the game into a musical, because he saw the movie High School Musical and thought that was awesome, and wanted to change it, and somebody in charge said, no, stay the course. So, I don't know how you can be employed by a company and spend years working on a game and have like nothing to show for it. It blows my mind. So eventually Nomura got fired. I brought in some new guy and he managed to pump out the game in like 2 years, the Final Fantasy 15. It was in a highly unfinished state. It's pretty much been finished now with all the DLCs and the updates, which has pretty much finished the game, so I recommend if you want to play it, now's the time to do it. With the Royal Edition, which has everything completed in there. But yeah, anything Nomura gets his hands on is just gonna be forever. And it's really weird to listen to fanboys defend him, especially like Final Fantasy VII Remake fanboys, because they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, man. The game development's going just fine. It's like 4 months ago they put out that they were looking to hire a level planner, which is something you do in the pre-alpha phase. That's like basically when that's the job position where you're trying to figure out what the layout of the levels are going to be. Like, you're basically mapping things out at that point. You haven't decided on what the level's going to be yet, and that's your job. And if they're hiring people for that right now, you know, 4 months ago they were hiring people for that, they are way behind. That game's like 4 years out. Oh yeah. Because here's the other argument they'd make as well, Fico, is they'd say, well, you know what, like, because people objected, like, because they're splitting the game into 3 parts. Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be 3 different games, okay? They're like, well, the original game came on 3 discs. That's true. It did come out on 3 discs on the PlayStation. It also came out on 3 discs on the PC. I own both versions of it. The thing is, though, it was 1 game. It wasn't 3. You didn't have to buy each disc separately. I didn't have to buy Final Fantasy VII Part 1, go to the store, buy Final Fantasy VII Part 2. You know, it's like, you didn't have to do that. Wow, 120,000 Halos right off the bat? That is unheard of. Of course, my time would be total garbage, so that's the payoff for it. Yeah, well, the thing is, like, my theory behind why people love Final Fantasy VII so much is when people tell me that's their favorite game, I usually follow up the question with, was it your first Final Fantasy you played? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes, because it was a popular one. It exposed a lot of people to RPGs. It was their first game, and they liked it. So that's why I can understand people like that game the best. It's their favorite Final Fantasy. Whereas if you may have been like an older Super Nintendo player, you may like Final Fantasy 2/4 or like 6/3, whatever you want to do it, basically, because there are different numbering systems. I call it Final Fantasy 6. It was called Final Fantasy 3 in the United States. But that was my personal favorite. I think they just nailed it for everything. But 7 was a lot of people's first ones, and then when they tell me they don't like Final Fantasy 8, I follow up the question again, why didn't you like it? It's usually, well, it wasn't a sequel. At that point in time in the Final Fantasy franchise, none of the games were sequels. It wasn't until 10 that they had a spin-off sequel type to the game. Then 13 had like 3 games to it. So that's usually my whole thing about it. I like 8. I like Final Fantasy 8 a lot. It's broken. I mean, you can just bust the game completely to the point where you don't ever really have to sweat about losing a fight. But I think it's pretty cool. Oh, interesting. So they show that the boss who has Jean already, that's this early in the game. Okay.
I can't believe you, Enzo. I didn't know the in-flight service was exclusive to fat Italians.
Yeah, say, why are you standing on top of the plane?
Then the plane ain't free, you know. That reminds me, you owe Alex the Kid for the charter.
Haha, Alex the Kid. Alex Kidd. Sega reference. So in Bayonetta 2, you need to go up to the top of a mountain to go down to hell. Yeah, that makes sense.
There it is. That's Fimblebinter. Not such a bad place when you look at it. Oh, but you gotta have a death wish to get close to that damn place if you ask me. Wow. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. What the hell? Where did these clouds come from?
Sorry, Enzo. This is where I get.
I wonder how he flew that tiny little Cessna all over the world. So those things are not made to fly that far. Perfect, especially a transatlantic flight. Or trans-Pacific flight. By the way, Bayonetta's clothes are made out of her hair. So, yeah, make of that knowledge what you will.
John, I'm on my way. Just behave yourself for a bit longer.
Try explaining to your parents what speedrunning is and then what game you are playing that you are speedrunning. Oh, what's the game about? Well, it's about a witch who uses her hair as a clothes and a weapon, and the more the stronger the attacks, the less clothes she wears. Yeah, they don't look me in the eye anymore. Hip hop. Whee! Wow, this loads. It still blows my mind how much faster this game loads versus the Wii U. Wow, I am dropping frames like crazy. Okay, it's back. Stupid internet. It's not OBS that's causing it, it is my internet. It's Spectrum. They have people working on it. They're like, well, we don't know exactly why it's dropping. It's like, I can tell you why. You guys got crap lines. You need to fix them. So, like I said, people who know me know that I used to speedrun this game. So if you go down right into the center of this platform I'm coming up on, you're going to get locked into a fight. So there is a skip. Jump on top of this platform, stick to the left, and you're all good. And you basically, that's your first skip of the game. There's not a lot of skips in this game for fights. The bigger skips come around Chapter 8, is what I call the entrance to hell levels. which is basically we get to Inferno, or this game's version of Hell. And basically these are Rodon's shop, the big guy that we saw earlier. That's basically, you can go into him and buy things with your halos. I'm not going to do that right now at the second, I'm going to do it in a minute, because I have a weapon I'm about to get. And people come out of the portal, you beat them up. Oh, I misjudged that again. Yes, Mario would. These guys are a pain in the butt. Just take them out as quickly as you can. Like a punch, kick, punch combo, it like works the best. Except for you screw it up and do that instead. Because they will all gang up on you, so it's like the smaller guys turn out to be the bigger threat. An LP, sweet. So these are the swords. They are a lot of fun to play with in a casual run. Like if you're just playing a game casually and just enjoying what you're doing, they are a ton of fun. But if you're speedrunning, you only use them like 3 times in the entire game, unfortunately. They have amazing hitboxes on them. They can hit people like way out of range, and they're good for crowd control, but they are weaker than the guns. The guns are the strongest weapon in the game before you get the hammer later on.
Set our prices on fire, so there won't be hell to pay. Come on, I gotta say some cheesy shit sometimes. Well now, looks like you found a good reason to visit. You know, I'm all about them angelic hymns gold LPs. Angels in Agony are pretty much my slow jams. I play that back home, and the demons will be lined up to get down. Lucky for me, I got a few jams of my own cooking that'll need a little demon kick to finish them off. That LP is just what the doctor ordered. Now hand it over, and I'll go get my swerve on.
Now, pretty much like in the original Bayonetta, you'd have all these different cutscenes where you just have like static posed people with the lines, kind of like you saw a little bit earlier ago with just a second.
Did not want to listen to reason,
but
it's all
basically what I could figure out is so far is that I know that Platinum had problems with money at the end of Bayonetta 1, so they didn't get to finish a lot of the cutscenes they wanted to have, pardon me, in the game. So it was kind of like a more art direction, kind of like, oh, we're going to make this our style, basically cinematics that weren't finished. Bayonetta 2, and basically, instead of doing all the cinematics complete with animations, they decided to basically copy the first style. They made it their own style for the game, so make of it what you will. Alright, so techniques. Big one you definitely need, or I recommend, is called Bat Within. This is like if you miss a dodge, you have about 2 to 3 frame window, like when you get hit, to hit the dodge button and you'll explode in the bats and then reform. It is very helpful to have. Crow Within is another one you want to have. I'll buy that in a minute. Accessories. Oh, it's not accessories, I don't think. No, it's not. It's been too long. It's Rodon's Treasures. Super Mirror 64 Part 2. So this is basically, it turns you into the most, the pilot suit of the most revered team of mercenaries in the galaxy. It's the Star Fox outfit. There's also outfits for Link from the Legend of Zelda games, Peach and Daisy from the Mario franchise, and Samus from Super Metroid or Metroid. And so the only one that's really important to speedrunning is the Star Fox costume, which I can't put on just yet, but I can put it on at the end of the level. And the reason why is when you shoot your guns, like if you hold down your attack button, you get guns, your guns will shoot. If you just do a normal tap, you just get this. If you hold it down, you'll start shooting your guns. So you got 2 shots, and then you get 1 shot, you got 2 shots, like that. The Star Fox costume doubles it up. So the 1 shot like this becomes 2 at the end, and then the 2 shots become 4. So when you add up the damage per second that the guns can do, and you just basically you're doubling the output of the firepower, it just goes through and wrecks so many different enemies. So basically that's like the only costume that we pick up in speedrunning. That's one of the things I figured out early on. Was basically to just go and put that thing on and start wrecking up enemies. Because I did a timer of it one time. I did like 2 runs. I did 1 run where I didn't pick up the costume whatsoever. And I just did straight off guns. And then I did another run where I did get the guns, and it was like major improvement. I mean, the time dropped like on the Wii U for about 5 minutes. And let's see. Yeah, so these are the swords. Your biggest thing... So you don't have guns with them, but this is a 360 spin. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but this hitbox is extending probably about 10 feet off of the swords. So if there's anything anywhere around, like just about like this park bench, you'll probably be able to hit it from here just about. Normally if it was an enemy, it'd be getting hit. When you do your Umbran Climax, instead of using all your big fists made of hair, these blades come out like a helicopter blade and just catch almost everybody on the screen. So like I said, they are great for crowd control.
If you're looking for the kid, he went that way.
Yeah, so his head is not on his body, it's on the sword.
I'm afraid I don't have time to dance too long. A friend is waiting for me. Is that all you've got?
So what I just use right now is called the Midas Touch, or Midas Testament, I think it is. And basically, as long as it's active, you get more halos for landing hits. So it's a good way to help generate some money pretty quickly. We normally used to not pick it up or use it until the money-making level, but then we've, like, the current runs have started adding it in this early in the game, just to help get some faster money. I'm not using my Umbran Climax, so I'm going to need to use it in just a second on the next fight that's coming up. You'll see like the crazy helicopter blades I was talking about in a second. Oh, that hurt. Button mashing actually hurts my back, so one of the things I learned in my back appointment I had back on Friday is that my spine is moving 4 millimeters whenever it starts shifting, and button mashing causes that to happen. As weird it is, so hitting, mashing buttons real fast on the controller is causing my back to slide, which is causing pain, which is why I had to give up speedrunning this game. And Fortunately, right now, at this point, it doesn't cause it to happen too much. That's the Umbra Climax version of the swords. That's why these things are so great. I screwed it up, but that's okay, because I'm used to the timing where you actually watch the cutscene. You normally skip the cutscene, run forward, and then dodge, so it threw me off just slightly. This part right here is completely unskippable.
Have you been naughty?
You have to listen to this conversation.
Secrets from Mummy.
Nope.
And this is where I like to point out Bayonetta's terrible, terrible back posture. That looks like it hurts. Good lord.
Now, that's no way to talk to a lady.
It's like, Bayonetta, are you where you have scoliosis?
Trying to give you a good spanking.
Have you considered a back brace or seeing a chiropractor?
So let's make a deal. You save me, I'll show you around this joint.
That's cool, Fico. It's not a problem. I know it's late where you are.
That makes two of us. And it'll take two of us, won't it, love?
You seem to have skipped school the day
Okay, so basically, they decide to team up together. He's gonna show her how to get to where she wants to go to rescue her friend Zhang. Normally you skip books in this game, but this one you want to pick up. This is the witch's recipes. So basically, you pick up these items, like these little gecko things that you've been seeing it stop to tell the game. Like, the game will stop to tell me about. Basically, it allows you to make lollipops instead of having to buy them from the store, which comes in handy at the, right before the last fight. Really? Okay, fine. Screw the swords then. I said, like, I'm hitting people way out of my range right now, which is why these things are great. I think I use them maybe one other time after this, that's all.
If you need to learn how to talk to a lady, ask your...
Also, by taunting right before this guy shows up, keeps your combo going, or else it drops and you'll be losing points, more halos. It's more important for a speed run, but... It dropped it anyway, that sucks. What the hell, game? Not a problem normally when you're speedrunning, because like I said, it's just, you skip all these things, but I guess the game timer decided to keep running and forfeit it out. Now, some speedrunners actually don't pick this up, but I like to use it there because they actually do pretty decent damage on the boss I'm about to fight in just a second.
Try to keep up. Sure, just because you asked, tall, dark, and ugly, that makes total sense.
Okay, normally, like, I'm not supposed to have this weapon anymore at this point in time. Red lollipops, I just used one right now, which is why I'm glowing red. Basically increase your damage output, so you can do a lot of damage very quickly. So it's a handy way to also speed up boss fights too, but of course, the big red ones are kind of rare to come across. You can make them yourself, or you can buy them from the store, but each time you have to go to the store, that's a time loss. That's alright, Nimbix. I'll catch you later, buddy. Thanks for dropping by.
What the hell are you doing? Let go of me!
So, little one, what's all this sovereign business about?
Not a clue, love. Oi!
My tailbone! It's fractured!
Whatever. If your sovereignness is going to get in my way, our deal is over. And if we're going to have to meet any more of your friends, you'd better learn to take care of yourself.
I'm quite alright on my own. Got it?
Your tricks aren't going to work forever, little one.
I didn't even know this was a cutscene right here.
More tricks, little magician. Maybe you've got more to offer than I expected. For the time being, though, stay here and don't get frisky.
He's like, okay.
There. That is the one, is it not?
Yes. I will never forget that face.
So basically that guy wants revenge. The Smurf Poncho guy. He's the evil bad guy of the game. He's trying to get Bayonetta killed for reasons I can't remember. The story's convoluted anyway, it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, though, that what I can do is I can put on my Star Fox costume. Which I will do in a minute outside of Radon's shop. So I mentioned like red lollipops and about having to go visit the store. On the Switch, it's not that big of a problem. So you're looking about 3 seconds loading time just to get where I'm at right now. So it's not too much time. You'll probably spend 20 seconds or so if you navigate the items like really quickly for what you're going for. But other than that, it's like you just don't really, you shouldn't really be coming back to this too often in the store. I don't really need anything else here, so we're fine for that. Also, the first time you play the game, until you beat it one time on the system, you're stuck watching all the cutscenes. Like, you can't do the fast skip, you can't do like the, what is it, ZR, which is like the right trigger, and the minus button, which would normally be select. You'd have to do start, or whatever the plus is. I'm basically going on traditional controls. I know the Switch it's differently, but it's like the start button, go down to skip cutscene, then it says, are you sure you want to skip it? Do it again. Yeah, so that's not good, it takes a long time. So you think it'd be change equipment, but it's actually change character. And a Star Fox uniform.
Oh, you want to play with Bayonetta?
So, as I mentioned before, you get like the 1 shot and the 2. So you can see it goes to the 2 shots like that. And then the 2 and the 4. And that just really speeds things up. So especially if you do the punch, kick, kick, kick combo. And the last one, you got a lot of gunfire coming out, so it really does lower the... It will shred through the enemy's health real quick. It's Luca, dressed weirdly for whatever reason in this game.
So, our fates and our paths cross once again.
In the first game, he thought that Bayonetta murdered his father. Yeah, you learn the truth that that's not just what happened. He's an investigative reporter type deal, and him and Bayonetta got this kind of will they, won't they relationship, so...
Bingo.
Maybe they'll do something with it in number 3. They probably won't, though. It's like he's not too much in this game, but in the first game it was more sexual tension, we'll call it. He was also the comedic relief. My spine, my rib cage.
Fleur de la Reine, Maid of Nerine, also known as diamond lilies, I think. The name Nerine is derived from the Nereids, or sea nymphs. Quite appropriate for this city.
Luca?
Will you quit calling me that? I'm not a pet or a cat. Oh wait, you said Luca.
She just kept calling him Cheshire, as in Cheshire Cat, from the scarf he wore.
No matter where I am, you always know how to make an entrance. Nice glasses.
Oh, these? Rodan has a soft spot for Shinshu sake from Japan. It was an easy trade to get him to make these for me. And don't get it twisted, Bayonetta. I'm not stalking you. This time at least. Look, I know you've got nothing but secrets. Hell, that goes for anyone, right?
But what about a man? Is he not a miserable pyro of secrets?
But if there's one thing I've learned in my line of work, it's when I found you, I found the story.
What on earth are you on about this time?
Don't act dumb with me. You know the story better than anyone. The Umbra Witches and the Lumen Sages, 2 clans that wielded incredible power just 500 years ago. The clans of the Overseer, watching over us all with the...
But it's neat though, at least that, you know, these, like I said, these like cinematics here, they're actually rendered real time. So it doesn't matter what costume we put on, but yeah, the reflection of the tail was the wrong color.
The Overseer is the one who created the eyes of the world for humanity. The same ones that the clans held on to so hard. The Overseer was the true creator.
It just been super easy for him to cop out and just basically make this just like running off the disc or memory.
The god of chaos?
From what my research has told me,
Man, I forgot how talky this game was when you don't skip all the cutscenes.
That's why this place has gateways to each realm of the Trinity of Realities. La Porta del Paradiso, the doorway to heaven, and La Porta del Inferno, the real gates of hell. Listen,
Why am I squinting at your breasts?
What the? Some squirrels get all the nuts. You're a lucky little fella, huh? Never took you for an animal lover, Bayonetta.
What can I say? I took a liking to one of the locals.
So he's your little tour guide, huh? Look, I know this isn't the time to chat. Let me see what I can find out to help you.
Just don't stick your nose where it doesn't belong, Cheshire.
Don't you worry about my nose. I can smell trouble when I see it. You just take care of yourself.
Way to go, you just ruined that guy's masonry. Luca does not care about other people's properties. And these guys are jerks.
Is that all you've got?
Yeah, they'll steal your magic, so you want to focus on these guys as quickly as you can. Like, so he just stole some from me right now. Ooh, got hit by arrows. So give it back. Bummer. You really want to have like full magic for this before the next fight, because you can do a torture kill on the next enemy and kill him real fast. But this is like my favorite scene in the entire game, especially the graphics. It's pretty cool. It was like really spectacular to see it on the Wii U. You ever seen that movie Scanners? I think his head's gonna explode.
What's this?
You actually fall faster than you go, like any other speed in the game. So if you jump and you fall like that, you actually go faster.
Or a sage for that.
So in a speedrun, we'll just keep hopping in Panther mode. But I do like this. You know, I think it's a pretty cool effect. Even on the Switch, but on the Wii U, it's pretty cool to see.
All right. It seems I can control the remembrance of time. That's a big deal here.
It seems.
I mean, no. I got nothing else to say, love.
The remembrance of time.
If only I had time to remember what it was.
What's that you're looking at?
Right, let's go. I've got a party and I've no intention of being late.
It's the Hammer Brothers. You can actually jump on them or grab their weapons, but it's a lot slower to kill them, so you definitely don't want to do that. As I'm just speaking from straight off pure speedrunning strats instead. Now there was actually a skip for this next upcoming part that somebody on, I think it's Lorcon, figured out on our Discord. And it's tricky to do. You have to buy a technique called the witch twist, which is where you can abuse it to do an infinite jump straight in the air. But you have to hit a certain trigger point in order to cause the next part of the level load, because there's out of bounds skips you can do. Well, you can get out of bounds in this game. It's not too hard to do, but how the game loads up itself, there's nothing you can do with it, which is a shame. Because like, basically, if you get out of bounds and you keep running past where the current section you're in the game, you'll mess up. It's like it will not continue forward, so you can't skip big swaths of the game. You actually have to go back and hit triggers, then it loads the next section, so it loads in chunks. So Lorcon figured out a way how to do a witch twist. Basically, some stairs are going to form here in just a second, and you can do a witch, like you can do this infinite jump up to the top, hit the loading trigger, which skips like basically skips a fight. I don't think anyone has timed it just yet. We've talked about it on the Discord, and we've seen video of him doing it, but no one's actually sat down to time to see if it's actually a time skip or not, like if it's worth doing or investigating, because I think it's just about neutral. Now, a weapon down there did spawn. It's a bow and arrow, but it's like incredibly weak. You don't use it at all, so... So right here, Lorcon would do, like, basically up at the top is where you need to go. So what he'd do is right where you see, like, the white part meets, like, the brown up there, is he'd do a witch twist up to the top. He wouldn't go through this blue portal. He'd just jump up above it, keep going, and then touch it there, and that'd trigger the last fight. So it'd skip, basically, the fight that I'm about to do right here. I said, like, all the time you have to do to keep doing that move over and over, we just never really figured it out, because you have to touch down right about here, which would trigger that wall, and then this fight. all these games are also rendered real-time by the Switch and the Wii U, but all of them run 30 frames per second except for one. Only one of these will actually run a full 60, and I don't know why it is, why they developed it that way. My only thing I can think of is like lack of detail in the one place where it runs 60, but everything else has been capped to 30. Oops, missed it.
That performance might make the back page of the classified.
First cards, if for tag mode, I don't really play tag. Basically, tag is like you go through, you pick your character, your teammate by either the CPU, who you basically compete against, or you can play with somebody else on the internet. Pardon me, or on Switch locally. Excuse me again. And basically, you pick cards.
Look over there.
The cards will give you different scenarios, like either a boss fight or have to do like fight certain different type of enemies. You have to pick 5 of them.
Inside, there's a device that can build a bridge to the heavens. It will take us halfway up Fimbulventer. An express pass, right, love?
Seems something finally came to mind, little one. While you're in the remembering mood, you wouldn't happen to know where the entrance to Inferno is up there, would you?
Inferno? You must be in some shit if you're volunteering to go there. Let me put it this way, love. Once we get to the mountain, you'll get your choice of going up or going down. Fimbulventer doesn't let you just stick around.
And which way will you be going?
Me?
What's the matter, little one? Scared of what comes next?
Shut up! Just get me to the mountain. Little one!
This guy's got a lot of mood swings.
Get away from me!
Oh, so this is how that happens. I always wondered how this water tornado comes up, because I forgot how. As I said, you skip all this. Oh, he actually has them in his mouth, okay. Like I said, it seems like no duh things, but like I said, it's just, when you start speedrunning this game, you don't watch any of this. So you forget it. See, if you get a good pattern, you can actually get around like 500 shots on this guy before the pattern runs out. Actually, I did really, really good there. And next comes up the worst boat owner ever. And was this guy like smuggling like nitroglycerin in there or something, or what? I mean, why did that boat explode? My dynamite!
Is that all you've got? Excellent.
Now this next part here, you're inside like the water tornado, and there's buildings that spawn that come out that basically you gotta watch out for. Now, the same buildings always come out, but the position that they come out in is completely up to RNG. So every once in a while, I've had it happen about 3 times total, it's like you actually have a building spawn all the way across you, like at the bottom part where you cannot dodge it. It's impossible. And you cannot flip through it to get out of the way. I've only had that happen a total of 3 times out of probably playing this game over 200. That one was close. Position-wise, at least. Let's see real quick. Let's put on... Equip. There. Now you can also get kind of screwed here too on this. I've had that before, like, it just decides to click you, like, the hitbox is a little weird. So, a lot of people don't realize, like, in this part here, you actually do have control, but if you hit jump, you actually start dashing back and forth, so you can kind of get out of the way of things a little more. This guy, you definitely want to stay as close as you can to him. Sometimes he has a tendency to, like, to run away from you, where you want to stay close and get as much hits as you can. Which will definitely, it's like the worst thing to have happen in a speedrun. And he's dead, just gotta wait for the game to realize it. Which sometimes happens in this game, like, you'll defeat an enemy, and it still has to go through its preset animations, like it's been programmed in and it's gonna do X amount of attacks. But you'll have to wait it out for the game to go through those. Like, that happens when I call, like, King Kong the very first boss you saw climbing the building at the start of the game. So every once in a while you can do a quick kill on him, like you'll kill him before you reach the top, but it still has to climb all the way up the building, crawl around the spire like the antenna a couple times, and then it'll trigger the death animation. Did I get hit? I don't remember getting hit. So usually if you get hit on this level, you don't get a platinum at all.
I don't recall asking for your permission. Oh, and I was wrong about our final destination. Going down. Fuck. The boy. Forgot about that.
It's a good thing she remembered. She almost sent him to hell.
Like my new haircut?
So when you play through the game and as a speedrun, current strat is what we call, we have a couple different ones, but the one that basically got built up is called the Earrings of Ruin, which are these like earrings you can put on that when you do your Umbran Climax, instead of having all your big giant Wicked Weave attacks come out, you actually get to ride a big giant mech that you basically saw in the beginning of the game, like in the prologue area. And that does massive damage with the guns. If you do 3 punches and hold them all down in a row, you can shred a lot of bosses. And by doing that strategy, basically buying those earrings at the end of the game just about, it sped up the last part by about 15 minutes. It was like super fast time cut. Unfortunately though, when you play this game in a speedrun setting, you're skipping a lot of opportunities and fights to make a lot of money, because you gotta go fast. And so basically you need to save up at least 500,000 halos in order to buy it. So sometimes it's a real squeaker to get by to get that amount, and then have enough to buy extra lollipops you'll need to help finish the game faster. So normally in a speedrun, you only visit the shop maybe 2 or 3 times ideally, like one to buy the outfit and your techniques, and then another time just to buy some ancillary equipment.
What?
So now we're about to see, once this little cinematic ends, another little skip. There's 2 ways to do it. It's a fight skip, basically.
Wait, who the fuck are you?
Hey, you're the pervert staring at Bayonetta's tits all the time. You really need to learn how to talk to a lady.
Hey, I am no... Wait, how did...
No time for this, mate. Where's the mountain? Where's Fimbleventer? I'm in a hurry.
Hey, kid! What the hell was that? Kids these days.
Kids these days with their darn Fortnite and their tic-tac-toe apps and the tickety-talkities and the rap music. Bah.
So much for a cat always landing on his feet, Cheshire.
Alright, so now we have like our second skip of the game. There's this bridge over here, but if you go across, if you run across it, you get into a trapped fight. Like there's no escape from it. You're locked in, you have to defeat an enemy, triggers a cinematic, waste time. There's 2 ways to get past this. One, because I have the crow, you can basically go, double tap dash in the air, and you can fly across. It's not bad, it's very safe to do. It's not really an issue there. It's a little slow. There is a faster way, and I'm going to show you here. I'm just going to give myself enough wind-up time to do it. It's called like the bridge skip, I guess we'll call it. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump and try to hit one of the columns over here, like right around about that area, and pull myself up just past the boundary where I normally get trapped into a fight. So let's see if I can do it. Did it. Alright, good. So that's another skip. So that's the fastest way to do it instead of jumping and flying across. It basically saves about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds max. It's not this humongous time cut, but it's definitely something. Sword guys are these shield guys are like the worst. They can just sit there and absorb all your hits and just basically make you drop your combo. Like I said, money is like, halos are the most important thing in this game when you're speedrunning. So I mentioned before that like all the like canned animatics where you run through, actually not canned, I mean they're rendered real time, but when you defeat a boss, you gotta hit the buttons there, they all run 30 frames per second, like right now. This is the one where you defeat them, it actually runs 60. I don't know why it is. This is the only one that runs 60, everything else is 30 frames per second clock. Oops. That wasn't good. I know what I forgot to do. Alright, so this one runs 60, as you can tell. It looks real nice and awesome. So I was hoping, like, when the Switch version came out that all of these scenes would run 60, but sadly it's just like the Wii U. This is the only one that does it. So I'm actually going to go visit Rodon's shop in just a second. Trigger a cutscene.
No time! I have to get to Fimbulventer! Why do I have to go there? What is on the mountain? My head feels like it's gonna burst. I have to get to that mountain! Shit! What was that? Nice mask, mate. Headed to that witch's party? Not the best costume I've ever seen, but she doesn't seem like the picky type. Just don't get in my way.
Where is she?
So you are going to her party? Quite the popular one, isn't she? Sorry, mate, but I haven't the fucking slightest. Haven't seen her in ages. Besides, even if I knew, she and I have a special relationship.
Then this will be all the easier.
Shit.
I mean, I don't know her at all. Alright, so this is another mini little skip. It's an optional fight. Sometimes, depending on where you jump, like you may spawn or might not. I'm going to visit Rodon's shop here real quick. I'm going to buy some health upgrades. And then we get to do our first fight against Baldur, who was the bad guy from the first game, actually.
Shut up and take my...
Alright, so items. We're going to go down. We're going to buy Witch Heart, which increases your health. Do 2 of those. And nothing else, because I was thinking like, oh good, I can do Moon Pearl, but I can't. That's fine. So Baldur, you end up fighting a total of 3 times. Basically, like, his second form that you fight is a good indication of how he's going to be on the third one. Peacock Baldur, as I call it. Or Troll Baldur, because the game will literally troll you. I've had it troll me before. I'm playing on hard or third climax, where he just summoned a sword out of 1 frame and just killed me. There was no way to humanly dodge it. It was like a terrible run. I was getting trolled the entire time, and then the game just pulled that nonsense.
You! What kind of adult picks on little children?
I'm not a child!
A mask? Let me guess. This is one of your assistants, little one?
Nothing comes to mind, love. Sorry. Maybe you've got something you'd like to tell me, love. I'm not a fan of getting wrapped up in domestic disputes.
Trust me, little one. He's not my type.
Dio? He is the one.
Oh my, you're a Lumen Sage.
Now, you can usually get him trapped in like in a punch kick loop. It's easier to do on like second, but like third and infinite is almost impossible just about. Except for he's being a little trolly right now, which is okay. Not really, but I'm also out of practice too, so there we go. So this is where I've had people join my streams before and ask me if I was like, what stage this was in Smash Brothers, and they were excited, like thinking I found something that they had never seen before. Like, oh my god, what stage is this in Smash Brothers? How do you unlock it? I'm like, this is Bayonetta 2. This is not Smash Brothers. And you can see he's pretty good. He's trapped right now in that hit stun, so that's working pretty well. So now we're in the air, because Platinum likes to keep putting like levels in the air, and I don't know why. They really kept trying really hard in this game. And if you're not used to playing this game, it can be really hard to track what's going on in this level, because I know like the first time I played it, I was completely totally lost. I'm like, where am I? So it definitely takes some training and getting used to. Alright, Friendly Tiger. See you next time. I'm actually going to be ending the stream pretty soon because my back's starting to hurt just from playing this, so... Thanks for hanging out, though. Be back to Metal Gear Solid 5 again tomorrow. Oh, misjudged that. Mistimed it. What? Lies. Yeah, unfortunately this game, like, even the button mashing like this is just murdering my back. Which is why I had to give up the speedrunning, unfortunately. At least until I get my back fixed. Ah. Platinum.
Not that bad, I guess.
Yep, not that bad at all. And with that... Yes, we've reached the end of the stream for today. I unfortunately, like I said, this is why I had to give up speedrunning this game, and I haven't been able to play it in so long. I just wanted to play it. I knew it was going to hurt me, and it really did, with my back problems going on. But I've reached as far as I can play right now. My back is screaming at me, so I'm going to stop playing and stop streaming for now. But I will be back again tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know when that is, just simply type it into Google, and it will tell you. It'll translate for wherever it is. Let's say 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard is your time here. Now you can also follow me on social media, Twitter, at Wursel555. I always post up there within usually around 1 to 3 hours before my stream, if I'm going to be streaming, and basically let you know what it's going to be, kind of hint as to what it is, or just outright so I'm going to be streaming, and what time, or if I need to cancel, I'll do it that way, because I tend to stream every single day. That video I just posted up there is by Super Butterbuns. She did a really hilariously fun video on Bayonetta 2, basically explaining all the concepts, a little bit of the story, and so forth. So if you're interested in it, definitely give her a follow. on YouTube. She's quite good at her videos. I do enjoy them quite a lot. So once again, I'll be back again tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll be streaming. Yeah, I'll be back to streaming Metal Gear Solid 5 because I'm doing 1 through 5 on that. So thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all next time.